Yeah.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press. I'd like to welcome you to another edition of our weekly press briefing here at the Executive Mansion, particularly in the foyer. However you're listening, wherever you're listening from, we want to welcome you, whether you're listening via radio or television or online platforms. We want to welcome all of you to this broadcast. As always, the President has had a very busy week. This time, as you can recall last week, I informed you that His Excellency was going to Bomi when he ended his visit at the poetry in Petersburg. And the week began when the President returned from Bomi County, Tottenberg. He made a brief stop at the Liberian American Poetry, where he had also gone to look at the different work that the team there were doing. After that, in fact, while he was there, the President was impressed as to the level of work and the processes of processing eggs to make it available to the Liberian market. And the President is very excited about those initiatives, and he's looking forward to implementing different initiatives, different sectors in the agriculture sector, in improving the food production. And we'll be speaking about some of his specific actions he's taking coming from Bomi. The President has also commissioned Liberian ambassador to Sierra Leone, Ambassador Bob Sharif. He was commissioned during the course of the week here at the Executive Mansion, and Ambassador Sharif is expected to be in Sierra Leone, where he is posted to carry forward Liberia's foreign policy towards that part, but more importantly, to also work with the Liberians in Sierra Leone, our neighboring country counterpart. The President also, during the course of the week, made a number of appointments, and the full list of those appointments have already been published. So the expectation is that those appointed will work diligently in fostering and forwarding the President's agenda and moving the country forward. Some of the activities the President is undertaking during the course of the week, and notable among them are, first, the President signed the executive order. He signed a number of executive orders. Executive Order 147, 148, and 149. Executive Order 147 specifically on ensuring the national identification enrollment for all Liberians and foreigners in the borders of Liberia. That Executive Order 137 is to ensure that you're Liberian, even if you are not a Liberian, you registered and have a registration documentation that will carry key information, key database of all persons resident within Liberia. And that executive order is by far one of the best executive orders, in my opinion, because I believe, or we believe, that that executive order will really help to enumerate and know exactly who's in our country, who's coming in, who's going out, but also other places where you have a centralized identification system that other component can be added, whether it's immigration, whether it's health, whether it's education, some key data information for individuals within Liberia. And this is a label that, as the President has signed it, will help to centralize and synchronize information of individuals, Liberians and non-Liberians, within our borders. Also on the executive order, earlier on I talked to you about the President's interest in the agriculture sector. Particularly, he's also signed Executive Order 149, and this executive order is also to strengthen the National Food Authority. And the National Food Authority will ensure the quality and control of our food what we eat, but to also dig deeper as to how we are able to look at food opportunities, examples of food stamps program, to ensure that our food, we have sufficient food basically. Primarily, the interest is to ensure that we have sufficient food. And this authority is also expected to work with international partners like the World Food Program, also with the Food and Agriculture Organization, and other key international food bodies to ensure the standardization of our food system, what we eat, what is brought into the country, and what is on the market, but also feeding programs for our children in our schools. This executive order is to also ensure that this institution work really diligently to make sure that what our kids are eating, they're of standards and quality. The team is there working seriously to make sure that this happens. On yesterday, His Excellency welcomed to Liberia his counterpart, the President of Barbados, Her Excellency Dan Sandra Fonila Mason. And President Mason is currently in the country. She had a very important meeting with His Excellency this morning here at the Executive Mansion. We're proud to come into the Executive Mansion. She and her delegation visited the Monrovia City Hall, where the key of the city was officially turned over to her. As you know, this is diplomatically acceptable. These are things that happen when key leaders and individuals come to the country. We're expected to welcome them with open arms. And this was happening, this happened earlier today. And then following the meeting, where they also had a one-on-one, a tete-a-tete meeting here at the Executive Mansion. And after that, the President hosted a luncheon in honor of his guest. And that luncheon ended earlier on, and the President of Barbados is currently at the Providence Island, where activities in relation to tourism and other things is showcasing Liberia's talent, showcasing Liberia's potential, showcasing Liberia's zest and energy in the tourism sector, and also talking about working with young people as well. So that activities is happening currently at the Providence Island. And on tomorrow, our President, His Excellency President Josephine Boakai, will also accompany his counterpart, the Barbadian President, Madam Mason, to Crusoeville. So Crusoeville, where they are going to be celebrating or commemorating the 160th anniversary of Crusoeville. And as you know, Barbados, Crusoeville had a very unique history. In fact, some of our former presidents are descendants of Barbados. And even some Liberians, even now founding the history of Liberia, some settlers came in from the islands and came. So her visit here this time is to really reconnect, is to really bring about the connectivity between our both nations. But the more important part is to also highlight and look at tourism, investment in the tourism sector. And as you know, Liberia already signed the Tourism Act, and then there's a plan to remove the tourism component of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, where there will be a tourism authority. And that authority will focus and really work on our tourism aspect. And this visit really came at a very important time where those conversations are happening. In fact, the lower house and the upper house have both signed the Tourism Act. And the president will be signing it very soon, hopefully sometime next week. And all these activities are coming at a better time where Liberia tourism industry is really getting on its right footing. We see a lot of investment in the tourism areas, even in my own home, Grand Cape County, in Rabosport, it's a very important and beautiful hub for tourism. In Nimba, where you see the eco lodges are, coming up. You go to other parts, Patawi in Bon County. So this is a moment to really bring all of those, conversations and activities together in relation to our tourism sector. And Barbados being a place, of that, it's really something that the President is looking forward to engaging. And also on technology, both presidents just talk about technology, and as you know, Liberia has started, in fact, the President did speak about it during the annual message, his first annual message, on the transformation, the technology for transformation, where LT and other institutions are leading the charge to ensure that that happens. So absolutely, things are moving, and this visit came at a very, very important time. And tomorrow, following that, the President Mason will be here, and then she departs the country on Sunday. And it's been a full day so far, it's been a full agenda for the President. He's looking forward to really precise engagement and follow-up. We do know that the President of Barbados have also invited our President to do a return visit. But right now we're focusing on, making President Mason feel home, feels welcome, and feels the warmth and enthusiasm and the hospitality of the Liberian people. We're very hospitable people, and we look forward to what's going to happen on tomorrow at Crusoeville. On the rather sad note, as you all can recall, last week we did inform the public of the passing of our colleague in our office. He was one of our staff members here. And today we're opening the book of condolence in his honor. Mr. Samuel Zor worked with the Executive Mansion for many years. He served almost 3 or more administrations here in the department, and unfortunately he met his demise while serving actively during this administration. The administration is really sad. However, the team is here praying for the family, and we're officially opening the book of condolence today. So finally, from our end, His Excellency the President has extended congratulations to the Catholic family for the elections of Pope Leo XIV, and President Boakai extends congratulations to members of the Catholic faith or the Christian faith and Catholic Church here in Liberia, but also globally, and pray that the church and the program that the church continues to, run for Liberia and Liberians continue, and that he looks forward to working and engaging with the new leadership. As you know, prior to the demise of Pope Francis, President Boakai did visit the Vatican and had a very important and fruitful meeting with the late Pope Francis. The President hopes that the new Pope will continue the legacy and connection from where the previous Pope left. Again, President Boakai congratulates members of the Catholic Church globally, internationally, even in Liberia, on the elections of the new Pope. Thank you all very much. Good afternoon. I'll take a question, should you have any. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Madam PPS. My name is Anthony Williams. I work for State Radio. And speaking of the visit of the President of Barbados to Liberia, President Mason, I wanted to make mention of one thing she spoke about today, among several things she said. I mean, I know you made mention of the aspect of tourism, which he actually stressed, but she also made mention that not only the fact that Barbados is known to be a touristic destination, she also mentioned that our country looks forward to working with Liberia on several issues. Though he spoke about technology, but then she also made a revelation today saying that it's going to be visa-free for now for Liberians to all countries. But then she says she expected to be reciprocal. And so how does Mr. President welcome this news? That's one question. It's fine. Also, Madam, speaking of the portrait farm in Carisburg, I was at the facility just the other day, and works are ongoing. But one question I wanted to ask, are there plans for government to expand the production capacity? Because currently it's been estimated to be producing over 200,000 eggs daily. We also heard of the BIPA, Liberian American Connection egg poultry in expected to even produce more than the 200,000 that's closer to Montreal. So if you can speak about if government has got plans to improve on those numbers. But yeah, I also wanted to speak about road connectivity. Nimba County is one part of the country that's getting, I don't want to say getting, but that has a lot of ongoing government road projects. We're speaking about the Ganta to Saclay-Pierre road corridor. We are already into the rainy season. That road has been paused several times because of the rainy season, slow financial flow, and other circumstances. So I wanted to inquire from you how steady and fast is government looking at that particular road, because within Saclay-Pierre City itself, there have been some drainages have been laid, lots of work has been ongoing, but you don't see the actual pavement, which, when Liberians say road connectivity or road project is ongoing, that's what they do expect. Probably we'll speak on those ones first and then look after questions.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for those beautiful questions.
So the first part on the visa-free and how our president is taking it, or what is he going to say or do about it. First of all, the president is very excited and very happy, and when he received the news from his counterpart on showing that visa will be made free for Liberians to Barbados. He's really excited and looking forward to working on similar approach. So right now, he will be working with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and his team to see what the modalities are to be able to reciprocate this very, very important. Because as you know, Anthony, visa enhanced tourism, it's important that others access the facilities in what you have. And it wouldn't be okay, good that our president can reciprocate what Barbados is doing. But I can say he has received the information and he's very excited about it. And he's looking forward to doing similar, but also in consultation with his Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Immigration, and all partners that are involved within the sector in relation to visa. On the poultry and whether there are plans to expand, what I can tell you, Anthony, the president is impressed so far as to the workings, and you saw the capacity. The project in Carisburg is around on a land of over 50, acres of land, and the process right now is still ongoing, and right now they're still on construction. They've not gotten to a point where they start the production. So prior to the expansion or expanding in other places or other counties, is firstly to get what's started working and moving and then expand. But I can see there are a number of other activities because one of the other issues we've seen or some of the criticism we've heard since the tour happened was that, yes, egg is now Liberia's staple. We need similar facility for rice, we need similar facility for cassava, for other things. But Tony, I can tell you, there are huge prospects within the agricultural sector. There are lots of programs happening, and over time, you will see the president will be visiting those initiatives. There are different farms coming up. There are cassava processing plants that's been worked on. The rice production plant that's been worked on. A lot of other things, some are in the pipeline. So for the president, he's someone who likes to see action, likes to see things moving, likes to see, things before. He wouldn't want to come and make all the promises, I will do this, I will do that. He wants to be able to see the actuality of the things happening. So you will see him visiting those establishments soon, and those that are, starting, those that are still in the pipeline, and those that have gone, further. Because for him, he really, 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 really wants to transform Liberia for where it is, or where he made it. On your question of road connectivity, the NIMBA, particularly the Saklepie corridor, roads work are happening. Yes, you may see some slow ends of different projects because the road project, some are challenging, but I can say to you from updates that we receive from the Ministry of Public Works and team that specifically when it comes to fixing a road, there are procedures. You don't just want to start without laying the sidewalks or the water, as we call it, or the drainages. It's important. So, in those road works, they come in phases. The first phase may be what they're doing now. I have not been to Saklepie recently, so I may not speak specifically to the particular portion you're talking about. But I do know if you go to NIMBA, there have been a lot of improvement, on the roads. That even the very Saklepie road, there's some component, that we're working on strategically. So, but I can say across the country, roadworks are happening, and you will see some fast pace before the major part of the rain, before the actual rain starts. Even though, yes, we're already in the rain season.
I've been Anthony Williams again. And just the other day, I remember asking you when the pronouncement about His Excellency, Mr. President, visiting other parts of the country was made. And I was concerned when he would have done that. I know it's been a minute since he announced that. Just the other day, the Minister of Information, was at the ministerial complex, and he made similar pronouncement regarding Mr. President's tour across the country. I'm concerned. I don't know how the government intends to tour the country in terms of roads, because we're fast approaching the rainy season, and I know how the roads get when it comes to touring Liberia.
Okay, that's a very good question. But I can tell you, Tony, the president, so we have 2 seasons in Liberia, the rainy season and the dry season. Liberians are across the country, rainy season and dry season. Even if the president will visit, in fact, so one of the things that we used to, as the people used to say, we're designating this time to do a county tour, but all of the things he's doing, these are counted tours in a way. When he went to Monserrato to go and visit, because normally when he plans on going to the county to see, besides just having town hall meetings with the community and the people to understand the challenges there, you also will be going to places in particular, things that are happening in the counties. So like these ones he started, these are preliminary activities in connection to the major county tour where you go and meet people, the town chiefs and everybody and sit down. And yes, rainy season, but there are parts of this country that you can go even during the course of the year. There are different counties. You have Skip Mounds, you have Margibi, you have even Nimba, you go Bond County, you go Grand Bassa, in all of those places. So yes, once the president's schedule is worked on, Once they conclude on the different plans, definitely they will be announcing to you the schedule and what's going to happen. But definitely it's still, in the schedule, it's still in the plan, and things, will move on. Yes, you may.
Yeah, Madam PPS, good afternoon. I'm concerned about the executive order that the President signed, giving rise to the National Identification Registry. Citizen and non-citizen will be taking their identification card. So Liberians are concerned as to whether those guys, the non-citizens, are taking an identification card, maybe a citizen for Liberia. Number two, you talk about the book of condolence that have been signed or that have been opened today for our late colleague, Samuel Zor. Well, you did not tell the public as to whether when he will be laid to rest, concerned because the Ministry of Information also mentioned his passing, in their regular press briefing. So when the late Samuel Zor will be laid to rest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On the executive order, whether by registering your identity will make you a Liberian citizen, absolutely not. There are procedures to becoming a citizen of Liberia, and it's clearly laid down who is a Liberian citizen within our constitution and who can be. So if you want to be a citizen and you're not a citizen and you are of Negro descent, you will have to naturalize, and there are procedures to do that. But this process, this identification registration is not a citizenship process. It's not a process where you become a citizen of Liberia. It's a different, if you want to be a citizen of Liberia, there are different procedures you have to go to, but it's not this. So this one is to register everyone in the country. It's like to have a card, your ID card, same as you have the citizen card. But this one, like for example, other places, so for example in Ghana, they have the Ghana card. Whether you're a resident or you're a citizen or you're Ghanaian, that card tells the difference. On that card, and they have different domination or different designs to show for different people. So for example, if you're non-Ghanaian, you will be told, or the card will state, it's like your passport. Your passport tells you your nationality, but this card is going to be like a card, like a regular ID, like the citizen card, but it's not a citizen card. This is an identification that will be held, that you can do other things with it. You can use it, hopefully, to travel, to go to the bank, to do other things, but it's a national identification process for everyone in Liberia. But Liberians, as citizens, your name listed, your citizenship listed, and all of that. It's like basically, you can be used in other places, you can use it for other purposes. Maybe if you do not have a driver license on you, can use it to show that, and it has your processes on it. So, and then this database can be created so that, for example, if you go to one entity, you want a service, but the entity need information of you, so they can use that card with that unique number assigned to you to be able to access, the system that your information will come down. So this process again is not for citizenship. It's to show that you have a card, you're a Liberian, you're a non-Liberian, but you're living in Liberia. So that data can be accessible to different sectors. And there are plans, in my conversation earlier on with the Minister of Transport this morning, there are plans to also expand, to synchronize it and centralize it, where, for example, if Minister of Transport needs to verify, if you went to apply for driver's license or you went to register a car, so instead of you just giving any ID, once you have that ID card, you are able to, or the Ministry of Transport people are able to look at that, put it in the system, put it in the database, and have all of the information out of it that they can verify.
For example, you want to travel, you want to go and buy something, or you need a visa or something, it's go in the system and it can verify your information. You go places, like, so it works as a full database of your identity. So it's a whole international system. That's not just not Liberia, it's just the NIR, that's the National Identification Registry. They're in charge of this, they're working on this, they're working with it along with the different partners involved. And this is it's pretty much to in fact, this will even help in the electoral process, for example. So instead of you having issues of duplication of people, and it's a form of, it's going to be a biometric system as well. So that means it's just you, it's unique to you, that unique identity. So that NIC or NEC rather, if any sort of information on you, they're able to go into their system using that unique, system to be able to bring all of that. And that system will also ensure that if you're not a Liberian, you have your card, you show it and know that this person is from this country and they're not a Liberian. So it's basically synchronizing all of the different information, all the people in Liberia to know who you are, where you are. In fact, it even helps to show movement of people. So once you're Liberian, if you do not have that card, then you know where to classify. But once you can get the card, it's also easier for you to be classified as well. And then they have, know exactly. They may not be exact because data may not be exact, especially when they're doing census, for example. Instead of you going to do the hassle, getting into all of that. But you have a system that have that. It's like some places where they have social security number, and that's unique to you. So once you pull that information, you pull that into it's like that. So it's not going to be something where when you start a process, it will make you it's not just a copy process, but it's important. And the team, Ministry of Internal Affairs, who chairs the board, and our Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Finance, and National Security Agency. In fact, it's also very important in the security component, because sometimes when someone commits a crime, they'll be looking for, this person was last seen here, but once you have that unique identity, unique number, they're able to trace their full data and can supply the security sector with the information that's needed. Also, sometimes I'm sure you've heard recently the way people will use your identity and say, I'm Yugbene, I'm calling from so place, and Yugbene is stranded, I'm stranded, I need some money, there are a lot of people doing those kinds of things. So with this kind of card, it's very easy to be able to pull that data to know who this person is once you have that identification process. So it's a process, no system is perfect, but it's a beginning process to centralize and synchronize our identity. See when we started, back then with the SIM registration, to register a SIM. So everybody who has a phone that is registered has an identity within the GSM company. So once that number is pulled out, your whole data comes out to show your picture, who are you, and whatnot. So it would set up a this will be more in depth than what the GSM uses. So any further question? If not,
Yes,
the Book of Condolence in there. Yes, so the Book of Condolence is open, it's going to be here. And we welcome media colleagues who are interested in coming to sign. Because Zor served the ministry, but he was also well known in other places. We intend to keep it here for a few days and then turn it over to the family. His Excellency is also going to sign the Book of Condolence. He's going to be laid to rest on tomorrow, Saturday, at 10 a.m. It's a sad, it's a sad thing for us. But again, these kinds of things happen. Colleagues, they go to the call, the ultimate call, The ultimate call is a sad thing. But again, we want to assure the family, be with them in prayer, his children, his wife, that the president has also extended his condolences. So tomorrow, like I said, will be the funeral at the New Life Jubilee Christian Ministry. It's
We're going to be in Conga Town around the NVTI. And then there will be a silent week today or tonight as his residence. Somewhere around Yellow Junction behind GT Bank area. So those of our media colleagues would love to stop by. The family will highly appreciate your presence. And then interment will also take place at somewhere called Waco Junction Cemetery, that is along the Kendall Road. So yeah, thank you all, and have a good afternoon. We look forward to connecting with you all next week for another edition of our press briefing. Good afternoon, and goodbye from us here at the Executive Mansion. Thank you.
And so that was the voice of the Presidential Press Secretary, Honorable Anthony Kula Nyan-Fofana. They're making some remarks here at the close of today's press briefing. Thank you for following. Follow us now on Facebook and also on YouTube at Executive Mansion /Liberia. We are live on YouTube. Thank you and have a blessed evening.